Now on CoastTV News.
Substation bill deal. The ability to override Sussex County's decision on a key piece of the offshore wind project becomes law, but why construction still may never begin in Millsboro. Improving South OC service. The plan getting a look at today by town officials with hopes of installation by the next big music festival.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Matt Pensick and welcome to CoastTV News Midday. Our top story occurred just before midnight. It's a compromise between Delaware Democrats and Republicans, and it results in Senate Bill 159 signed into law. That's the one that overrides the Sussex County Council's construction denial of an electric substation in Millsboro. So here's the compromise. Senate Republicans allowed the $977 million capital improvement bill, better known as the bond bill, to go through. In return, implementation of overturning Sussex County's denial is delayed, and according to Senate Republicans, the delay allows the lawsuit against the alternative energy company U.S. Wind to continue without interference from the state government. And more on this compromise is now posted on the CoastTV app and website. New this morning, Ocean City attempting to improve cellular service for music festivals. This afternoon, Mayor Rick Meehan and the council are reviewing a request by Singular and Verizon to place small cell antennas in the downtown area, specifically to cover the inlet parking lot and the boardwalk between Wycomico Street and First Street. The next big festival in town is late September with Oceans Calling. Now checking out the live scene in South Milford this late morning. Blue skies, puffy clouds, lots of sun as we work on another hot and humid day. And our First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihey joins us now with a look at First Alert weather. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Matt. It is hot and humid, but then again, it's the first day of July. We can expect this, right? But it is still really steamy out there. We did not drop below 80 degrees this morning, and right now temperatures pretty much into the upper 80s, around 85 to 89 degrees, even upper 80s from Rehoboth to Bethany Beach right now, and those dreaded dew points still in the mid to upper 70s. It is that air you can wear. Look at these feels like temperatures. Already feels like 100 in Seaford, Long Neck, Bethany Beach, and mid to upper 90s elsewhere. So take it slow this afternoon and make sure you stay hydrated with water. We're seeing some high clouds out there. At least we have a breeze now kicking in out of the southwest, and that's ahead of a cold front with showers and thunderstorms along with it. I think that'll be sliding in this evening, giving us that chance of storms. So we're good until about 5 o'clock as far as the weather, and then we're looking at storms building in through the eastern shore, then eventually into Sussex County through the evening hours. Could see damaging winds and maybe torrential rain as well, maybe local flooding as this system moves through. Otherwise, ahead of the storms, feeling like triple digits today. So make sure you have the water and sunscreen. Lower 90s this afternoon. Then the storm start this evening. Once again, some of those could be strong to severe. More on that. And I'll have the latest on the 4th of July holiday weekend. Looking really good at this point. That's coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
All right, thanks, Bob. We have new information on a story that we've been covering involving marijuana use in Delaware. According to the Office of the Marijuana Commissioner, Delaware will begin legal adult use marijuana sales on August 1st. Licenses may begin recreational sales on that date. Last December, the office announced the successful applicants for 125 available licenses in its public license lottery. Delaware State Police are searching for two men that appear to impersonate immigration agents, also known as ICE. According to troopers, around 2 a.m. on June 28th, a man was pulled over on Burton Road in Milton. Police say two masked men got out of the car, which had flashing lights. They wore vests that said ICE. State police say the two men pulled the driver out at knife and gunpoint before punching the victim and stealing his wallet. In Washington, a self-imposed July 4th deadline closer for what President Trump calls his big, beautiful bill. It continues after a marathon session overnight, and as Amy Kiley shows us, after all the sleep deprivation, it's still unclear whether Senate Republicans can pass this bill.
I know people are weary.
The Senate could hold a final floor vote today on President Donald Trump's sweeping budget plan. Democrats keep trying to delay it, most recently by proposing dozens of amendments. They say Americans need time to consider their perspective.
This bill steals people's health care, jacks up their electricity bill, takes away their jobs, all to pay for tax breaks for billionaires.
Republicans have a different take.
It addresses military modernization. It addresses securing our border. It addresses restoring energy dominance. It extends tax relief for the American people.
It's still uncertain if the bill will pass. Republicans can only spare 3 votes, and some are on the fence. Senator Tom Tillis says he's a no over his concerns that qualified Medicaid recipients could lose coverage under the bill. Senator Rand Paul says he's worried about adding trillions to the deficit, so he's out. Senator John Curtis opposes newly added taxes on wind and solar energy. It's also unclear how Senators Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins will vote, since they broke with their party on Medicaid amendments. If the bill does pass, it'll head back to the House, where it faces an uncertain fate.
There's a lot of us on the House side that are worried about with the Senate bill, and I think we'll have a hard time passing.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
A Delaware law that was signed 2 years ago goes into effect today. Restaurants in the state are no longer allowed to offer single-use plastics or foam foodware. It also applies to plastic cocktail and sandwich picks. Customers can only get plastic beverage stirrers upon request. Now, there's some exemptions here, such as for fire companies and long-term care facilities. Voters in Delaware's 20th district will get a chance to hear directly from the 5 Democratic candidates who could fill a vacant state House seat. A public forum is set for Thursday, July 3rd. This is at the Lewis Public Library, and it'll run from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. No writ of election has been filed yet. The people who will participate in the forum are Alana Berry, Joe Elder, Randy Meredith, Ruby Schaefer, and Keith Steck. That's according to the Sussex County Democratic Committee. The seat opened after Representative Stell Parker Selby resigned following her year-long absence at Legislative Hall. And we're just getting started in this edition of Coast TV News Midday. Coming up, Clark shoe craze. What sneaker collectors had to do to get the WNBA stars footwear release. But next, rates under review. The Indian River School District is talking changes after referendum failures. Coast TV News Midday returns after this. Tonight, a developing story in the Indian River District. The school board looking at possible tax rate changes. This is scheduled for review at its Tuesday meeting, and it occurs after 2 failed referendums this year. Meeting takes place at 5 p.m. at the Indian River High School. Ocean City responders getting some recognition. The United States Life Saving Association Mid-Atlantic region honored the OC Beach Patrol, Ocean City Fire Department Rescue Swimmer Program, and OC Communications with a Heroic Acts Recognition Award. This is for a recent rescue of a young man who ended up getting lost at night in the Atlantic Ocean. Congratulations to all those folks in OC. Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 7, the Shorebirds begin a series at Purdue with the Fredericksburg Nationals, and then it's the final score at 10:30. On the DSN Plus app at 6, high school field hockey at DE Turf, and then at 6:30 we have Delmarva Pony League Baseball.
It is a hot start to July, but then again, it's supposed to be hot and muggy, and that's exactly what it is. 88 right now in Ocean View on the Gutter Helmet Cam. We're headed into the low 90s. Feels like temperatures in the lower triple digits this afternoon. And keep an eye to the sky this evening. For dark skies, I'll talk about severe weather possibly moving in and impacts later on. Umbrella giveaway winner today is Agnes Rennie from Ocean City, Maryland. Congratulations to her from Paul Davis and Coast TV. More on the severe weather chances and a beautiful 4th forecast coming up next. Hard to believe it's the first day of July, but that's exactly what we have today. July is here, and well, it's supposed to be hot and humid, right, for the first day of July, and it is. 85 in Laurel on the Tyndall's Casual Furniture camera. Some puffy fair where the cumulus clouds and those dew points are awful into the upper 70s. So we're headed into the lower 90s, but feeling like triple digits with the heat index later on. We're looking at warm and muggy conditions, in fact, hot and sunny today. And then we're looking at a stormy evening, maybe the threat for severe weather. Damaging winds, flash flooding, certainly a possibility. More on that coming up. And then gorgeous for the mid to latter part of the week. High pressure, lower humidity, a beautiful 4th on the way with upper 80s and lower 90s. We're still awaiting word from the Weather Service on this tornado last night, or I should say from yesterday afternoon, north and east of Frankfort. We had trees down, power lines, and we had some folks with video showing that damage. So I think probably an EF0 or EF1 tornado. I think that study will come out, that survey I should say, this afternoon, and we'll keep you apprised of that situation. Temperatures in the upper 80s right now. now, it's a scorcher. A little cooler in Ocean City at 77. At least there's a breeze out of the southwest, but it is a warm and muggy breeze. That southwest wind out ahead of a cold front, and still very muggy with 2 points in the 70s. And we're looking at feels like temperatures in the upper 90s and lower triple digits. So stay hydrated this afternoon. We're looking at high clouds out there right now. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies. Wind starting to pick up out of the southwest. It's ahead of this strong cold front back to our west. Already showers and storms across the mountains, the Appalachians, back through the Ohio Valley. And as this front heads our way, it'll be crashing into that warm, steamy air, giving us that threat for severe weather. This is the 4th of July weather. High pressure across the plains, looking beautiful then. But we're watching for storms as we go into this evening. Here's 6:30. I think those storms moving into the eastern shore. Then by 8 or 9 o'clock, they're starting to move into Sussex County. We definitely could see some torrential rain, maybe flooding in poor drainage areas. We could see training storms, meaning they move over the same spot as we go through, several minutes or maybe an hour, and also damaging wind threat too. And then I think through the overnight, it's just general showers and maybe some thunderstorms, and then lighter showers into Wednesday morning. Then maybe one last push of showers and storms by midday tomorrow. But for the eastern shore and the northern part of Sussex County, it is a slight risk of severe weather with damaging winds maybe in excess of 60 miles per hour, and watch for flooding too. Lower chances to the south and east. There's that last push of rain midday tomorrow. Then we finally dry it out after that. 70s in the afternoon, and then by Thursday morning, we're into the upper 60s. That'll be nice. And then drier with sunshine and mid to upper 80s on your Thursday. And as far as rainfall amounts, 1, 2, possibly 3 inches if we do get some flash flooding this evening. And then Thursday through the weekend, beautiful 4th of July holiday, lower humidity, temperatures in the 80s and 90s. But before the storms, feeling like triple digits today and better into tomorrow. And here's the muggy meter, very humid, miserable now, but looking much better as we go into Friday and Saturday with lower dew points. Lower 90s today across Sussex County. Eastern Shore lower 90s. Watch out for the evening storms. 93 in Salisbury, 90 in Ocean City. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. It does cool to 83 on Wednesday. We start to lower the humidity finally by the end of the week, and the 4th looking great. 86 looking great for the cookouts and fireworks. Upper 80s into the weekend, remaining dry, maybe a little more muggier and a little hotter by Monday, partly cloudy and 91.
All right, thanks, Bob. And here's what's coming up this evening on Coast Life at 4.
We hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday so far, Coast Life, but maybe we can make it better when you tune into the show at 4 o'clock, where we are going to be talking about that crazy world of real estate. We know it's ever changing, and we've talked a lot about the seller's experience. Today, we're going to dive into what's changing for the buyer's experience as well. And of course, we've got a great debate for you. This is a classic, and it's perfect for this time of year as we gear up for the holiday. Is it burgers or is it dogs? Which is your preference? We'll talk about that in the great debate. All that fun and more is coming your way today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
Coming up next, Clark Footwear Frenzy, the rush to get this latest Caitlin Clark sneaker. CoastTV News Midday returns in a moment. Nike released WNBA star Caitlin Clark's first player edition shoe on Monday. Her version of the Kobe 5 Pro Tro decked out in Indiana Fever colors. Sneakerheads had to enter a pool and cross their fingers for the chance to buy the coveted kicks. Shoes were gone in minutes and immediately went to the resale market. EA Sports jumping back into the world of college basketball. The last time the company released a college hoop game, that was in 2009. This new one features both men's and women's teams. However, fans wait a bit before they can play it. The outlet Extra Points is reporting a 2028 release of the game. Good news for drivers hitting the road this Independence Day holiday weekend. The price of summer gas hasn't been this cheap since 2021. According to Gas Buddy, prices at the pump are expected to average between $3.10 and $3.15 per gallon nationally, and that's down from $3.49 per gallon last year. Still ahead, COVID shot controversy. The allegations that Pfizer was playing politics with its vaccine release. Stay with us on CoastTV News Midday. Lawmakers are demanding answers about whether Pfizer delayed a COVID-19 vaccine announcement for political reasons. The House Judiciary Committee alleges that former executive Dr. Philip Dormitzer said Pfizer delayed announcing that its COVID-19 vaccine was effective until after the 2020 presidential election. That announcement about the effectiveness of its vaccine came nearly a week after Election Day. Pfizer's CEO has denied any political move, saying the timing was unrelated to the election. Some lower court judges will have to revisit their decision on transgender health plans and birth certificates. The Supreme Court tossed aside a handful of rulings that sided with transgender Americans. This comes in the wake of a blockbuster ruling last month that upheld a ban on gender-affirming care for trans youth.
It's a hot and steamy start to the month of July. 89 in Milford, headed to the low 90s, feeling like triple digits later on. Then we're watching for the potential of severe weather this evening. Keep an eye to the sky for stormy weather. And call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast. Your forecast just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. I'll have your 4th of July holiday forecast. I think you'll like it, in my 10-day forecast coming up next. The last stifling, hot, steamy day for a while this afternoon. Stay hydrated. We're in the low 90s, and then the storms break out probably after 6 p.m. this evening. And watch for very heavy rain and maybe damaging winds. But the last day of triple-digit feels-like temperatures for a while. I think we can all breathe a sigh of relief. 10-day forecast. Once again, watch for severe weather this evening. Lingering showers into Wednesday, 83, and then Thursday and Friday looking great. 89 Thursday, the 4th looking good too. 86, comfortable humidity looking great for the cookouts, and then into the actual weekend, upper 80s looking dry, lower 90s next weekend, maybe some more storms by Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, thanks, Bob, and thank you for being with us on Coast TV News Midday. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app, and don't forget to join us tonight for Coast TV News at 5. Until then, have a great Tuesday, everybody.